Oh, it's such a clutch off-season pickup, Dave.
I was worried we'd bring back the same team.
I meant those blackout motorized shades.
Blinds.com made it crazy affordable to replace our old blinds.
Hard to install?
No, it's easy. I installed these and then got some for my mom. She talked to a design consultant for free and scheduled a professional measure and install.
Hall of Fame son.
They're the #1 online retailer of custom window coverings in the world.
Blinds.com is the GOAT.
Visit Blinds.com now for up to 45% off site-wide, plus a free professional measure. Rules and restrictions apply.
Imagine that this line represents the time, present 1985, future, past. Prior to this point in time, somewhere in the past, the timeline skewed into this tangent, creating an alternate 1985. Alternate to you, me, and Einstein. But reality for everyone else.
Welcome to the Infinite Rabbit Hole podcast. I
And Shadow
am
Band.
your host, Jeff. I'm the star and sole creator of excellence on this show. Joining me today are my two secondary, not so special sidekicks, Jeremy and Jake. What's up, fellas?
Sidekicks. As long as I don't have to wear underwear over my tights, I'll be good.
Is that a
I'll
good
do it.
intro? Did I do
I'll
it?
do it. Yeah, it was perfect. Couldn't have done it better myself.
Dang, man, that's what you'd expect from the Shadow Band podcast.
That's actually how we do our intros. Our intros are very much just
Okay.
like
I'm gonna make a T-shirt for the shop for Shadow Band podcast. It's gonna be Shadow Band. Totally doing it. Jeff, do I have the rights to use your likeness? It's gonna say Shadow Band, and it's gonna have a little ID sticker. It says, "Hello, my name's Jeff."
verbal contracts don't hold up in court, right?
Yes, they do.
We got that recorded, my friend.
It's all right. It still won't hold up in court.
He said, yeah, sure, that works.
I didn't say yeah, sure. I said sure.
That's a verbal contract. You've
We've
signed your
also-
life away.
It could be interpreted as sarcasm depending on how good your lawyer is.
Nope. I have Saul Goodman, so you're screwed, so.
I
Yeah,
don't
I
know who
just
that
watched
is.
all of Breaking Bad in like 2 weeks.
That's who it is. I've seen Breaking Bad.
Yeah? Wow. All right, you
All
guys
right.
ready for some earth-shattering news?
That's what we're waiting on.
All right. I'm going to screen share. You ready? Oh, yeah. Oh, yes.
I have a
All
feeling.
right, here we go. Look
I
at
haven't
this.
proofread this, everybody, just so you know.
Look at this. Scientists claim Gulf Stream could be near collapse, predicting a new ice age. Published on November 12th, 2025.
Published by
The
who?
key Atlantic current could be pushed to the brink of collapse within decades, supposedly ushering in a new ice age and dramatically rising sea levels. Climate scientists have claimed in a controversial new study published in the Journal of Communications, Earth and Environment. This is a New York Post article.
Okay. Can I just hold on?
No.
Okay,
You
all
shut
right.
you shut your dirty mouth. All right.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
So I wanted to say to everyone on Earth, since we're a worldwide podcast, congratulations. We've done it. We survived global warming. The Earth burned up. Most of us died. But somehow we survived. And now we're going into a new ice age again from like the one that was predicted in the 1970s. But yes, we're going into a new ice age. And we are no longer in global warming, and now we're in global cooling. So despite what all the naysayers said, we survived. It was actually so dramatic that none of us even knew it was going on, but most of us are dead now. So congratulations, everybody. We've done it.
Okay,
That's
look,
wild.
listen. Two things here, Jake. First of all, the global warming hoax hasn't even been a narrative for like 40 years. It's been climate change, not global warming. There is a
Yeah,
difference.
well, they
Number two,
changed it because no one would
of
buy
course
into
they
it.
did, because it's a scam. Number two, if there was an ice age, just like any previous ice age in history, that means lower sea levels, not higher sea levels. Whoever wrote this article is a fucking idiot.
Yeah,
That is
I'm
100% factual.
I'm aware of that, Jeff. But all I'm saying is everyone's cute, funny looking,
Hey,
electric
hey.
cars and all sort of stuff didn't do anything because we survived global warming. We did it. So pat yourself on the back. We've done the impossible. That's the power of positive thinking. We did it. I took that from Matt Walsh. That he had a good little spiel on it. But yeah, we totally did it. So now we're gonna experience global cooling, and then everything's gonna freeze, and then we're gonna die by freezing to death. But we survived global warming.
Somehow we're gonna enter a new ice age, and the sea levels are gonna rise. Where's all that water gonna come from? Because if we have an
clearly
ice
it's
age,
because when you freeze water, it expands.
Duh.
He's never put a beer in the freezer. Come on.
Whoever wrote this article isn't even getting the hoax
There's
narrative right. Like they got
Nice.
the narrative wrong. They're not even following. Let me not go on a rant.
I told
No.
you. I
Well,
told
we gotta kill time.
If you want us to do an episode where there was no topic, I got you, bro. We did it.
Ridiculous.
We're all gonna freeze to death now.
Ridiculous.
But hey, make sure you tell your local politician to go and buy some beachfront property so they can flaunt it in your face while they say that the oceans are rising.
I live on a hill. I'm good.
Now, what I will say, because obviously we're joking about this because it's absurd, right? The whole climate change hoax is absurd in my opinion. However,
Have to hold your tongue, sir. There are people who take this very seriously.
I know there are, and they're incredibly uneducated. However, there is something to be said about the weather modification and that forcing people out of their rural environments and into these 15-minute smart cities on purpose, right? So there's always, in my opinion, in Jeff's conspiracy world, okay, they always have to sprinkle like 10% of truth in with their 90% of bullshit. The 10% of truth is that there is man-made climate change. The 90% bullshit is that it's you and me driving our cars around and eating beef. The fact of the matter is that they are manipulating all of the weather patterns with the technology that they have so that they can create the problem, offer the solution. It's just what it is, man. Rant over.
What does the top part say? Rant brought to you by Shadow Band.
I love you, Jeff. I do.
No, it's all. I'm not even
Totally making a t-shirt.
Go do your thing, brother.
I will give you a nickel for every one of them.
So I'm gonna get like 12 cents because you're gonna sell 2.5 shirts.
That's right.
2.5. Yes.
All right. Well, so we don't have a guest tonight, and we don't have a topic, so we're here just to bullshit and maybe get an episode out of this. That was good. That was fun, Jake. Thank you. Remember to trust the science, even when the science tells you that the Earth is going to burn up and cool down, and flood and not flood.
This is why they just shift the goalposts. For a long time, from like the 70s on, it was global warming, right? And they realized that, oops, that's not actually what's happening. So they changed the narrative to climate change, not global warming. Now they can, whatever happens in the chart, right, up or down in temperature, like they could just say, look, this is climate change. But going back to the idiocy of that article, whoever wrote that's not even playing the game correct. Like they're just playing it wrong, because you can't tell me that there's an ice age and that will raise sea levels. You just aren't playing the game correct.
Is this the next Psy-Op?
No.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like this website, this is AG Web, says Doomsday Addiction, celebrating 50 years of failed climate predictions. Like you could find this just quick Google search and be like, okay, so in the 1960s, overpopulation and famine forecasts were all the rage despite the Green Revolution. And then 1968, world population at 3.5 billion, the population bomb. Like all kinds of stuff. You can just scroll down through all of the baloney things. Oh, look, there's the New York Times again. We must realize, this is August 10th, 1969. We must realize that unless we are extremely lucky, everyone will disappear in a cloud of blue steam in 20 years. Thanks, New York Times. You could just look up lists of failed climate predictions, and it's just like lists of things over the years of how they said, oh, everyone's gonna die, and then nothing happened. Wow.
Yeah, this is not the next Psy-Op. This has been the Psy-Op for like 50 years, and it didn't work. It's not working. I mean, yeah, sure, there's people out there that it worked on, but you could say that about anything, right? But overall, this Psy-Op hasn't worked. The next Psy-Op is extraterrestrial threat, whether that means aliens or, object or a solar flare, like what they just talked about happened the other day. You guys see this? This is the next Psy-Op. I've been talking about this for a long time. The next Psy-Op is going to be a threat, just like all the other major Psy-Ops. It's always, number one, a threat that none of us can see or verify on our own, right? So whether you're talking about communism, terrorism, viral threats, climate threats, these are all things that you just have to trust the experts on, right? The next big one is going to be from outside this world, right? We're never going to be able to you and I cannot verify that there was a solar storm last week or whatever it was, and that you could see, magnetic phenomenon in the sky in Florida, right? We can't verify that is what happened, and that's why that is happening. So that's
Gosh,
going to be the
I
next
hope
big.
this is a real quote. 12 years to 2031. In January 2019, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez put her chips on 2031 as the potential end of days. Quote, millennials and people, Gen Z and all these folks that will come after us are looking up, and we're like, the world is going to end in 12 years if we don't address climate change. And our biggest issues is how are we going to pay for it? And like, this is the war. This is our World War II. I hope that's a real quote. Dang, she's dumb.
And it's funny, man, because listen, a lot of these people, like, they have a very specific, like, small window that they claim that this next event, whether it's the climate event or, I've seen a lot of people talking about with this 3-eye atlas thing, like, there's a very small window where all of these people are putting targets on when the end is, right? And it's always around the year 2030. And it's funny to me because 2030 is Agenda 2030, which used to be Agenda 21, where they're talking about all the smart city initiatives, AI run populations, you will own nothing and you will be happy. All of that stuff is 2030. So when you see any type of claims or, hey, look, by 2030, this, right? It's not even necessarily that they understand this. It's just that they're getting fed information from, quote unquote, the experts, who are all getting information from their experts, right? Who are all involved with the World Economic Forum, the Bilderberg Group, the Trilateral Commission, etc. And those are the people that are planning this great reset by the end of 2030. That's the big Psy-Op. The big Psy-Op is whatever the next big threat is, the next thing that we're all going to shut down the world for, and whatever it is, it's going, in my opinion, it's going to be from outside this world. It's not going to be any way that any of us can verify or do anything about it. We just have to trust the experts and go along with, the new program.
Fair enough.
Now the rant's up.
Shall I do more?
Yeah, go for it, man.
Go ahead, fire it up, dude. Now you got me fired up.
Fire him up.
Stir in the pot.
Get him angry. Well, let's talk about this the alien invasion. Because I've been doing a lot of research into this, a lot of reading, a lot of everything. I'm with you. Who was it? There was somebody. I don't know his name. Jeff, maybe you do. It was specifically on how to spot a Psy-Op to anybody, just like the normal everyday person. If you're interested in what people are talking about when they talk about Psy-Ops, they said the best way to spot a Psy-Op is when the one part or one side of the conversation is being muted. So like for COVID, right? It was trust the science. Anything against that was being muted. They were getting kicked off of social media. They were getting banned. Shit, people were getting arrested in some countries for doing this, right? That's how you spot a Psy-Op. Basically, when any kind of public agency isn't allowing one side of the conversation to be made. What I haven't seen yet, because I've seen a lot of people talk about Atlas and other alien invasion scenarios happening being a psyop. I don't necessarily see the other side of it being muted or diluted. It's not being shut up. So I don't necessarily believe that this is a psyop unless the definition or the format of a psyop is evolving.
Because this one is how do I put this? All the other psyops in the last, I don't know, call it 50, 80 years, right? Maybe 100 years, right? To me, those were all like smaller psyops to put pieces on the chessboard in a specific spot, right? Setting us up for checkmate. This one that's coming is the checkmate. It's not necessarily a psyop in the same sense, right? This is the final move.
Do you really think that, though?
Yeah, I really do. I don't think that,
we're getting to the big bad.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, and the only reason I think that is because of they put it out, dude. Like this isn't even me just like speculating or whatever. Like these people, when I talk about like the World Economic Forum and shit, right? Like these are the people who run the world, right? These are the tops of, corporations, of governments, right? Of world banks, people who literally set forth the basis for all of the laws and all that shit that happens in the world. It goes through these groups like the Trilateral Commission, the Bilderberg Group, the World Economic Forum, etc. They plan all this out. They get together every year and they sit around and they plan out how are we going to change the world, and they put it out publicly. And they've been saying this for years and years and years, that 2030 is when this great reset is going to happen. And they literally have white papers that I could pull it up right now, right? Like they talk about the climate shit, they talk about the AI revolution, they talk about all these types of things and how all of that's going to come to a head at the same time, which it is. Any person who's paying any attention to what's going on in the world right now, not even conspiratorially, just regular observation, right? We can all see it. The AI is getting to a certain point. They're integrating AI into literally everything, right? All of the tracking stuff with Palantir. The governments are using this shit, right? All the mega corporations that have been collecting your data for the last 25 years, like all of that's being fed through massive AI systems, right? So that they can sort out and, organize all the information in certain ways, right? You couple that with the global economic situation, right? We're almost $39 trillion in debt just in the United States. The interest that we pay on the debt is more than what we spend on defense every year. There's literally no way that we can reverse or fix that. They're going to literally print money into oblivion to debase the currency and inflate the debt away. They are saying this, by the way, right? Scott Bessent, the fucking head guy in this shit in the U.S. government, is literally talking about inflating the debt away, which means debasing your money, right? They're instituting all of these crypto laws over this last 8 months, right? So now they have digital assets that they're going to back the dollar with, right? There's your CBDCs, right? Your central bank digital currencies. You talk about the climate thing, you talk about all of this shit that's happening at one time, bro. And I'm telling you, man, like there's no way that they're not going to pull this off. Now, are there going to be factions of people and groups of people who just don't really fall for it and don't play the game? Sure. But most of the people, just like with COVID or with 9/11, any of these major psyops that happen, most of the people are sucked into the game whether they like it or not. You want to get on a plane? TSA's grabbing your balls, right? Even if you think the whole Patriot Act thing was a complete fucking scam, guess what? They're still watching you. They're still listening to your data. No warrants needed, etc. You see what I'm saying? So yeah, it's going to happen.
I don't know, man. I was listening to one of the more recent Sean Ryan episodes with God, what was his name? Chase Hughes, I believe his name was. I could be off on his first name. I know his last name was Hughes, but they were talking about psyops, and it's interesting because he pointed out a bunch of things, and then on top of what he was talking about, I started thinking about some of the more recent events that have occurred with UFOs. Right, and how the public is just getting so comfortable with the idea of extraterrestrials and alien life forms, something visiting here from somewhere that we don't know. It's coming fast, especially this year. All of 2025, we've just been had our noses shoved into the concept of disclosure. Now, in 5 days, November 21st, 2025, there's a movie being released. This movie is supposed to be game-changing. Now, of course, little old Jeremy back in the day before he met this Jeffrey guy. Honestly, I'd be super excited about this movie coming out. It's called The Age of Disclosure. And basically, it is supposed to be the most revealing movie / documentary ever done on the concept of disclosure on extraterrestrial life. Have you heard of this yet, guys?
Yeah.
No, sounds fake.
So actually, this movie has been talked about on the floor in Congress multiple times. This has been talked about on every big name independent podcast that you can think of. Joe Rogan and everything below that. Everything. And if you just see what's coming at us, you see a slow progression, kind of like what Jeff was talking about or alluding to, that we're slowly being built up for something. And I'm actually curious if this is going to be the line in the sand where when this comes out, are we going to see a whole wave of people that are now on this bandwagon, if you will, of UFOs, aliens, extraterrestrials, interdimensionals, whatever you can call them, saying, hey, this is a real thing. This is going to happen, blah, 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 fill in the blank. And are we going to get another form of tribalism out of this? Or what is it? Separation, right? Division.
No. And that's why I say this is like the final move, right? Because with all of the other psyops, they're designed in part to create that tribalism and division, right? That's not always like the main goal, but it's just like a second order effect of most of these things, right? Whereas with this one, this is the whole point of Project Bluebeam. And I don't mean Project Bluebeam in the sense of holograms in the sky, faking an alien invasion or whatever, right? That could be part of it. I don't know, but that's not like the whole thing. The whole thing really is just that when you have a threat from outside this world, who was it? I think it was Reagan that said this in one of his speeches. He was like, look, if there was an alien threat or a threat from outside this world, like everybody would come together. And he's right? This is different than like a virus or, we're fighting some ideology, right? And you could have these tribal fracturing. With something that was a threat from outside of the world, most of us would come together in some sense and say, yo, this is a problem. Let's get together and fight back against whatever this threat might be, whether it's aliens, whether it's an impact, right? Like a comet or an asteroid coming or something like that. I mean, if we wake up tomorrow and all of the space agencies, NASA, the European Space Agency, et cetera, if they all come out and the world governments come out and they're like, hey, look, man, we just want to let you guys know, like, there is an object that's on a collision course with Earth. We've got 4 years or whatever to do something about this. You're going to have most of the people screaming for all of the world's governments and everything else to come together to solve this problem. Otherwise, we're all fucked, right? Not sure you're going to have your anarchists and your factions of people who are just like totally against whatever they're doing, but as a whole, most people would come together and be like, yeah, this is a problem.
I'm actually working on a script for the new podcast where I just researched this. You're right, it was Ronald Reagan. It was from September 21st, 1987, and it was during his his address to the 42nd General Assembly of the United Nations. And the key quote from this speech was, I quote, "I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world," end quote. So this is 1987. They're starting to lay the foundation with this speech from Ronald Reagan. More or less, I'm trying to play devil's advocate here, trying to spurn some sort of conversation, but I'm fully on board with there being this grand buildup of disclosure. The only thing that I have a problem with is the only flaw that I see in all this is that I don't see this being as old as everyone thinks it is. Now, I'm not saying that there wasn't anything to this speech from Ronald Reagan, but I don't think it goes back as far as this. I think that this was used. This was a tool that was used. It was a pretty, I hate to say, but innocent speech by Ronald Reagan, right? Because at the time he believed that the UN was going to be a good thing and that uniting was exactly what we should do. I think that this is now being used as a tool. The reason why is because if you think about how people in general, just human nature works, right? It's very selfish. So if anybody's going to put anything like this into motion, something that's going to be worldwide affecting, they're going to want to be alive for it. They're not going to do it just to die off and let the next generation of puppet masters do all the, get all the glory and see all the fruits of their labor come to fruition. They're not going to do that. Now, so that's why I don't think it's as old as a lot of people think. Now, I think it could be as about 20 years old, possibly, if not less. I think somewhere in the 90s, right? I think Serge Manasse was onto something when he came up with the whole Project Bluebeam thing. But if look at Congress, man. Look at the people who rule the United States, right? That run our country. They're old as fuck. They can't even fucking stand up. Like, they're done. So all of this stuff is coming to fruition here in the year 2025. And I really feel like it's being rushed. Why is it being rushed? It's being rushed because all these people are getting ready to fucking croak.
Well, the old people are, but they have a bunch of new people that are kind of stepping into roles and stuff like that are.
Yeah, but it's not the new people, right? The old people, the ones that put their time and effort into lining all this shit up. They want to see this shit come to fruition. Human nature is selfish, man. Okay?
They have no idea. This is the problem, dude. They have no idea. Ronald Reagan has no idea. Members of Congress have no idea. They have a very small idea of what this is, okay? Those people are all put into those positions, right? Like, you don't become a congressman or a president without massive funding, right? It's basically buying your way into those positions, okay? And the people who back, your campaigns and all this, those are the people I'm talking about. When you're talking about the World Economic Forum, like I said before, these are people at the tops of industries, right? These are the people with so much wealth that there is no number. Like, people think Elon Musk is the richest person in the world. Bullshit. He's the richest person publicly known.
Right.
But when you start talking about like some of these kings and princes in the Middle East and like, who knows how much wealth Putin has and et cetera. Like, there's people who have way more wealth than we could ever imagine in this world. And those are the people who fund campaigns to get certain people, puppets, into places of power. And then they have those puppets, they lobby those puppets to, sign certain bills or, submit certain bill, whatever. Like, that's what's going on here. So I get what you're saying, and I agree with it to an extent, but these Nancy Pelosi's and these Chuck Schumers in the world, like, they don't understand this on this level. They understand, how do I get wealthy and how do I maintain my level of power that I've acquired, right? They think they're at the top. I don't even know if they think that. They might be smart enough to realize that they're not, that they are just puppets, but they're useful idiots, right? And they're making a killing doing it. So the thing that's going to happen, though, is when this major event happens that is outside of this world, again, aliens, impact, I don't know, solar flare, threat, some shit's going to go down. When that happens and you do have your subsection of the population that's, let's say, protesting or fighting against that narrative, those people will be labeled as terrorists, right? This is like a movie. Okay, think about this like a movie. You've got the whole world.
I don't watch movies.
I know you don't. You got the whole world coming together to find a solution because the asteroid's going to take us all out. Great, sounds awesome. Then you got your faction of people who are out there like protesting against the world globalization, right? Coming together and doing this thing, and they'll just blow something up and say, oh, look, that was those crazy, anti-globalist terrorists who are sabotaging our efforts to save humanity. And those who are like dissenting will be labeled as terrorists or whatever the case is, just like they did with January 6th, or, during COVID, if you were talking about, vaccines or viruses in any type of way that was against the narrative, right? You were being labeled as, basically a terrorist, right?
Like the parents at going to parent-teacher conferences, they're domestic terrorists
Exactly,
because they're
right?
fighting against the LGBT narrative. Yeah.
Exactly. It's going to be the same thing, but it's going to be on a much bigger scale. And then once that happens, like, you're screwed. And I really think this is going to happen. I don't really think there's any way around this, to be completely honest with you. But I want to pull this up. I just want to show you guys this because I'm sure there's
So you're
people
going to
that
go
are-
with the system then, right?
I mean, not to an extent, but what are you going to do, right? There's at a certain point, like I said, if you want to get on a plane, TSA's grabbing your balls, dude. Like, sucks to suck.
I mean, what if you like getting your balls grabbed,
I want to just show
I
this
go
for a
through
second.
airport security just to go through airport security. I don't even fly. I don't like flying. You know what I'm saying?
Joke's on you. I don't even have a ticket.
I want to
That's
connect
right.
these dots for the people who think that I'm crazy or I don't know what I'm talking about. So this is the World Economic Forum's website, okay? And for anybody who doesn't know, Klaus Schwab, his son is now in charge of the World Economic Forum, but Klaus Schwab was like the head guy of the World Economic Forum for a long time, for decades, okay? And here's the headline on the World Economic. This is not the New York Post. This is their actual post on the World Economic Forum. Now is the time for a great reset, right? Look at this picture. Push to reset the world, right?
That was from 2020, it looks like.
Yeah, it is. This is
Yeah.
this really started coming out during the lockdowns. Okay, COVID-19. I'm not going to read all of this. I just want to point a couple things out. COVID-19 lockdowns may be gradually easing, but the anxiety about the world's social and economic prospects is only intensifying. There is good reason to worry. A sharp economic downturn has already begun, and we could be facing the worst depression since the 1930s. Which, by the way, they're still throwing that narrative around right now. But I'll not get into that. But while this outcome is likely, it is not unavoidable. To achieve a better outcome, the world must act jointly to swiftly revamp all aspects of our societies and economies, from education to social contracts and working conditions. Every country, from the United States to China, must participate, and every industry, from oil and gas to tech, must be transformed. In short, we need a great reset of capitalism. Okay, let me go back real quick. And here, the International Monetary Fund. This is the World Bank of the World Banks. You think the Federal Reserve is in charge of the World Monetary Fund? No, it's the International Monetary Fund that's even higher than the Federal Reserve. My thanks to His Royal Highness, the Prince of Wales, and to the Professor Schwab of the World Economic Forum for bringing us together. Now is the time to think of what history would say about this crisis. And now is the time for all of us to define our own role. Will historians look back and say this was the moment of a great reversal? Today, we see very worrying signs. 170 countries are going to finish this year with a smaller economy than at the start of the year. And we already project that there will be more debt, bigger deficits, and more unemployment, which we have seen. That's where we're at right now. And there is a very high risk of more inequality and more poverty unless we act. So what would it take for historians to look back at this crisis as the moment of a great reset? I'm not going to read the whole thing, but I just wanted to point this out. Like, this is not just some conspiracy that I'm just making up. This is literally what the people who run the world are talking about and have been talking about for a long time. And they've been putting it publicly since the lockdowns. I keep going out of focus and it's pissing me off.
Get a better camera.
It's a great camera. It's a $300 fucking camera.
It's a Psy-Op camera. Cameras aren't real.
They're just birds. He's got a bird in his office area, studio thing.
No, I don't know, man. We've talked about this a lot. I definitely think that there's the puppet masters behind Congress, right? I totally get that. I'm 100% on board with that. When I say, the people who run our country, speaking about that on multiple levels, right? There's a lot of people that are going to listen to this show that don't really understand the necessities behind the argument for the real elites, right? The ones that put these people into place that you were talking about. But then there's going to be a lot of people here too that also already know what we're talking about, especially the people that like this particular type of conversation, right? We cover all kinds of shit, so we're gonna attract all kinds of people. When I say congressional people, I'm not necessarily actually talking about Congress. I fully understand that there's hidden hands behind these puppets that we see every day, but even they are getting old. And okay, instead of jumping around, I agree that we're coming to fruition on something, but I think it's going to be sloppy. I think it's going to be ugly. I think it's going to be rushed, because I think a lot of these people are getting fucking old, man, and they want to see this shit happen before they die.
Sure.
And
But it doesn't matter.
whether it's hidden hands or not, there's been somebody putting a lot of time and effort into all this. And just talk about others to kind of draw a connection for some people that are listening, right? When Jeff was talking about Elon Musk not being the richest person in the world, what you have to understand is that there are people in this world, the people behind the government, the shadow government, if you will, if not behind the shadow government, that are so rich that currency isn't even a thing to them. They're rich on something other than currency. Currency is for, I mean, you might not be wrong, but the currency is something for us peasants, right? Even Elon Musk, he's lower class compared to these people. He deals in terms of dollar signs and monetary value. The real people controlling everything don't have to worry about any of that. It's not a thing. Am I wrong?
No, you're not wrong at all, honestly. I mean, like, so there's estimates out there that the total world's wealth is about 900 trillion worth of stuff, right? When you account for all of the money, all of the gold, all of the real estate, all of the land, all of the oil, all of the everything, right? There's about $900 trillion worth of wealth floating around in the world, probably close to a quadrillion at this point. And yeah, what is Elon Musk worth? They say, I think the most recent one I saw was like 500 billion, right? Do the math. 500 billion. What's a quadrillion divided by 500 billion? It's nothing. It's pennies. So in the people who are at the tops of these pyramids, if you will, right? They're in charge of asset flows, commodity flows, these types of things, right? So that's why I brought up the example of like princes and, you know, sheiks and whatever else in the Middle East, right? Like, you know, Prince whatever over there, he's in control of all the oil that's coming out of Saudi Arabia. That's way more than $500 billion worth of oil, right? So, but yeah, he doesn't look at it like I'm worth this many dollars, because he doesn't care, right? He's in control of the flow of the commodity, which is worth more than any dollar amount that you could put on something. So yeah, there's people way wealthier, not in dollar amounts, but in stuff amounts, right, out there.
It's like I hate to say it goes even beyond a barter system though, and because there's arguments to be made that as a society we were richer during the bargaining periods, right? When we used to trade goods and stuff. That used to be a much more efficient way to live for a lot of people. It gave everybody reason and stuff. But it goes beyond that. You're talking about oil and whatnot, and I know you're using that as an example. I'm just trying to make it clear that there's people that are on a completely other level trying to connect this to something, and I don't know how. So I'm just talking around circles here.
Well, my whole thing is that those people, right, at the tops of these pyramids who are way wealthier than any dollar amount, right? These are the people who show up to these meetings at the WEF and the Bilderberg Group, etc.
I don't even think they're there, man.
Their representatives are there. Some of them do go there, right? Like there's billionaires there and stuff like that too. And there's politicians there. Like, you know, it's a whole slew of people just at the higher ends of society, right? That go to these things. And they're the ones, again, that come up with the idea of like, hey, how are we going to change the world, right? I literally read to you, like, here's how we must change the world. We must unite and change the world. Like it's this weird thing that they're all in this weird cult together, and then their little minions down below, their politicians and their corporate bosses and the CEOs of these organizations or whatever, like they don't fully understand the moves that these power players are making. They're looking for dollars, man. They're looking for that little bit of power that they can get in this life, you know, but they're not playing this.
They're looking for their campaign to be funded for the next election cycle.
Exactly. And like what you were saying, like you don't think it goes back that far to the 87 Reagan thing. Like it goes back farther than that, dude, because
It goes back in levels.
It
but
goes back in levels.
I was specifically talking about like the alien invasion story
Sure.
arc, if you will.
Sure. Yeah, no, 100%. And, this is why I always preface this with it's like, I don't know if it's going to be an alien invasion, right? Like, to me, that's a little too on the nose. I don't think they would be that sloppy. They could.
I think they will. And if you see Spectrum Assassin's last comment there, it's their FOMO that controls their useful idiocy. Sorry, can't read. I 100% agree with that. I think that we're going to see something as obnoxious as a fake alien invasion. And I think that there's going to be a massive portion of the population of this planet that's going to fall for that shit.
It could very well be. I'm not even saying that it's unlikely that that's the thing. I'm just saying, like, I don't know. Like, me personally, I could list you a handful of, like, extraterrestrial threats, like I've mentioned before, like an impact or a solar event or aliens. Like, there's a mix of things that it could be that would all work, if that makes sense, right? It could be the aliens thing. This is why I always am skeptical about people like Jeremy Corbell, because, even though he says things like, hey, they're gonna try to do this, because he even came out and said this back in like January or February, right? He was like, look, they're gonna do this. They're gonna try to trick us with this thing, right? And whatever. And he's not lying. I don't think he's a liar. I just think that he doesn't understand how much of a pawn he is in this as well, right? That's kind of where I think a lot of these people are. They just don't even know, like, where they sit on the chessboard. And, not to shit on him personally. It's just, he's one of the guys out here, like Stephen Greer, that's pushing this narrative. And he's even said this before too, like, he's got people in intelligence and so on that are feeding him information that he's using for his research, and that he's feeding us, what he can and that kind of thing. So does that make sense? Like, I don't know, explain that any better. He's part of the chessboard too, right? Whether he knows it or not, whether he has good intentions or not.
I'm not gonna, I don't know, man. It's such a touchy thing, because I get emails and comments all the time for being a pawn in a pog, right? And being one of these chess pieces that push narratives and shit. So I don't know, man. Like, I kind of feel for Jeremy Corbell. Like, I feel like he's probably out there trying to do good. And I don't disagree that he's probably being used. But at the same time, man, I don't know, because personally, I've never been approached to be a pawn. I've never been given a script to read. I've never anything, but yet I get accused of it all the time. In fact, all three of us get accused of it in emails that I get.
Yeah, and I get it too on my show. And the thing about it is that when a narrative is powerful enough, you could be a pawn on the chessboard without being involved directly. Like, nobody has to come and tell you anything, right? Because you're interested in the topic. You're going out of your way to research the topic and try to put the puzzle pieces together in your own way, and just talk about it on the internet, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not even shitting on that. But what I'm saying is that the narrative as a whole, all those little tidbits of information, this footage that's coming out from the Pentagon, and you got your astrophysicists talking about the possibilities of this and that, right? You're just acquiring that data and talking about it, but in a way, you're kind of pushing that narrative one way or the other as well, right? And we all are doing this all the time.
Sure, yeah.
It's just a part of us being human and being interested in things. But again, that narrative is just so big, and this is why I think this is the final move, bro, because there's no way that this doesn't turn into something that they use on a global scale, right? Just like COVID or 9/11 or World War II or whatever the case is. Like, it's all the same type of thing. They put these puzzle pieces into play a long time ago, and in very specific order, in a very orderly fashion, in a certain type, to where it leads us down this path naturally. When you start talking about what happened after World War II, and after, we got off the gold standard and the Patriot Act comes in, and then the lockdowns happen, and now we're talking about the UFO thing, like, it all just seems like a natural progression of things, but it's not, in my opinion. It's set up that way.
Well, it's
It's a
orchestrated.
long game. It's orchestrated over generations, dude. okay, we got to do this. And we can't get to that next part until we do something like, I don't know, a Patriot Act of sorts. We get all the data. We can't get to the next step until we have, AI intelligence that can help us do things with the data that we've collected over the last 20 years. And then we can't get to the next step until it's just like this thing that they're just pushing for. This is why I always say that they're in a cult. Charles Schwab's son is in charge of the WEF now. Charles Schwab could die tomorrow. Sucks. He's not going to see his thing come to the grand finale, but he's been around long enough to see all the pieces get put into place where he's going to die happy because he knows
He's
that
leaving
yeah. Yeah, there's no
I don't think so, man. I don't think so. I don't think a legacy means anything to these people. Be 100%.
It's not a legacy. It's putting the pieces into play, right, in a certain way.
But that's not enough, man. That's
maybe not for you or me. We're normal people. These are lizard people we're talking about, right? Like they have a different. They're on a different.
Listen,
path,
man.
right?
Everybody's mortal, right? Everyone dies. Everyone has goals. They have a bucket list. This is nothing but a giant bucket list to these people. And I'm just talking about human nature, human psychology, right?
I get that. But think about it. Okay, let me just use Jake for an example, right? Jake's a religious man, right? Jake has his faith and his religions and this and that. So Jake knows in the back, Jake doesn't want to die tomorrow, right? He's a human being, of course. But on the other hand, Jake has a strong enough faith that if something happens to him tomorrow, I'm sure that there's a certain level of him that is okay with that because he has a belief and a faith and he knows what he knows, right? These people are the same way. They're just in a cult. So like, even though they're not going to see the end goal, they have the faith and the belief in the thing that they've been working for generations that it's fine for them. It's okay. Like I put the pieces into place. Now it's the next person.
My part. Yeah.
I'm doing my part.
I disagree.
I mean, you could disagree if you want, but
I personally think that's why we're coming to fruition now. I mean, if you just look at the year, it's got to be that somebody behind the scenes is reaching their deathbed, or they know that they're a little whiles out, and things are just coming so fast right now, dude. This last year, right? I mean, really since COVID, that's like the real turning point. But when you're talking about the alien agenda, right? Because when Project Bluebeam first came out, back when Serge Manasse talked about it in the 90s, right? UFOs were just objects in the sky that people didn't even believe existed. It was taboo to talk about, right? We've come we took a complete 180, man. We have mainstream media talking about it. Congress is talking about it. Congress is pushing the release of this documentary video coming out in 5 days. Age of disclosure. We're having, people who talk about this stuff on an everyday basis, like Jeremy Corbell, are becoming some of the biggest celebrities out there right now. The taboo has completely left, and it only took really a year. Yeah, I know Congress started talking about this back when the videos off of the Navy ships started coming in, the Gimbal Go Fast and whatever the other one was. But even from that point, I mean, we've been doing this podcast for 5 years. That was something that we talked about, I think, on year 2, right? So in the span of the 2 or 3 years leading up to 2025, we had the Go Fast and whatever videos come out. And that was really it. Since the first congressional hearing of 2025, which I believe was in March or April, it has come full speed. Now we have Harvard astrophysicist Avi Loeb talking about this 3-eye atlas, trying to push the narrative of this potentially being an extraterrestrial craft, to Congress talking about how there's something out there. This Paulina, I just can't remember her fucking name. You know what I'm talking about, right?
maybe, I don't know.
Jake, you got it?
You know what?
She's a Congress lady. She's young. We'll come back to it. But she's going on to other podcasts and talking about this stuff openly. She was just on Joe Rogan.
Anna Paulina?
Anna Paulina, thank you.
She is young.
She's very young. but she is going out and being the speech person for all of this UFO movement right now. She's constantly bringing it up, constantly talking about it. There's pockets of congressional people who are talking about this. This isn't taboo anymore. This is something we're talking about, and it only took 9 or 8 months. That's it.
Yeah, I get it, and I'm not even disagreeing with you. What I'm trying to say is that, like, they might be rushing this part of the psyop, the UFO, UAP, like alien part of the psyop right now to meet the deadline of 2030. But the deadline of 2030 for this fourth turning or this great reset, that deadline is not new. So I don't think that these people are trying to rush out the UFO thing because it's the UFO thing. I think they're trying to rush out the UFO thing because it's like the final piece of this Project Bluebeam idea so that they can reach the deadline of 2030, which has been a date in stone for decades.
Well, let me throw a hypothetical concept at you. What if Project Bluebeam, and I'm just using this to give them titles, right? I'm not talking about Project Bluebeam specifically, just like you said, not talking about the holograms in the sky of religious figures. But what if Project Bluebeam and this Project 2030, whatever, are two competing psyops?
I mean, it could be. I don't know. I'm not in the cult rooms, right?
Because from the outside looking in, man, I don't think they really have anything in common.
It's a global threat. That's the point. The point is that it's a global threat. It's the thing that brings all of the world's governments together.
See, but Agenda 2030, right, is a Western concept.
No,
the UN, right? This is a UN thing. Well, UN, World Economic Forum, but even the World Economic Forum is mostly made up of Western countries. Project Bluebeam and the alien agenda and UFOs is being discussed worldwide right now.
Right. The Agenda 2030, while it might seem like a Western thing, it's really not. It's a globalist thing. There's a difference between, you've got your nation state actors, you got your Eastern powers and your Western powers, the way that we talk and conceive of these things. Yeah. But that's just a facade. These people are into globalism, right? It's a globalist order. It's a new world order, right? It doesn't matter whether you're talking, Chinese government or United States government or whatever. It doesn't matter. To them, it's globalism. It's the getting rid of all of the borders, getting rid of all of the nation states, and creating one world government. So it doesn't matter that it's Western or not. It doesn't matter even if the people who are at the tops of these are Western civilization or whatever. It doesn't matter because that's I
use that term vaguely.
I understand. But I did some searching a second ago, right? Because I wanted to see like how far back this idea goes, right? So I said, when was Agenda 2030 created? Okay, September 2015, right? In the UN agenda, they adopted the Agenda 2030 for Sustainable Development. Okay, so then I asked the next question.
Did you ask it for Agenda 2030? Because it wasn't Agenda 2030 at first.
I know. So my next question was, when was Agenda 21 created? Because that was the precursor to Agenda 2030. Agenda 21 was created in 1992. So then I asked, what was the precursor to that? 72, United Nations Conference of the Human Environment in Stockholm. And then I asked, okay, what's the precursor to that? In 68, Sweden's 1968 proposal to the UN, the subsequent UN General Assembly Resolution 2398 in 1969, calling for the conference, and the 1971 FAUNEX seminar, which addressed the disputes between developed and developing countries over environmental protection. So this keeps going back decades and decades and decades. They keep rebranding it, and every time they rebrand it, every couple decades, they slightly modify the world threats, right? Because the most recent one that I read to you was 2020, and they were talking about this global pandemic being the thing, right? But as you kind of go back in time and look at it, It was the environment, it was global warming, right? It was sustainable development. It was all these different things.
Anything
that
they
goes
can
back-
do to get as many people on board as possible, depending
Exactly.
on what's going on and what the buzz is, and to keep.
And that's my point about the UFO thing. I think that this UFO thing, this alien situation, this extraterrestrial situation, is just it's going to be the next and the final phase of this. So when we hit 2030, maybe prior, right? Maybe next year, the year after that, or maybe it's 2031. I don't know. In this range of 2030, give or take a couple years, the UFO, UAP, or 3I, cometary impacts or solar impact, whatever it is, that's going to be the next thing when they go do their big meeting, and they're going to say, okay, if we got to make this happen, it's got to be this thing. You see what I'm saying?
I mean, I see what you're saying. Yes, I think we're closer than we think on this whole concept. I think
I don't think we disagree.
We're slightly off on the end game, but for the most part, I think we're on. We don't agree on a lot of things, but I think this is one where we agree, but we're trying to describe it differently.
Yeah, we're just trying to parse out the fine details of this, but I think we're pretty much on the same page. We both know that something's about to happen, right? Whether, like I said, whether it's 2030 or 2027 or 2034, I don't know, but right in there, right in that little fucking range, something big's going to happen. And when that happens, it's going to be world changing.
I think the only thing, I don't know necessarily what your time frame looks like on this, but I think where we slightly disagree is that I think it's going to come very quick.
It might, like I said, it could come next year. Now there's a lot of like infrastructure and things that have to, the governments move slow, right? So, even if tomorrow fucking aliens land and they're like, we're here, how's it going? Or whatever, it's going to take the world's governments 2 or 3 years to process and pass the laws and, maintain order on whatever level this is. So no matter how you look at it, even if it happens tomorrow, it's still a process that we're going to go through as civilization. You know what I'm saying?
I was just thinking about Agenda 2030 and Project Bluebeam, again, just conceptual names being the same thing, right? Like everybody, just imagine like the news anchors on mainstream networks. They're like, hey, you guys all got to get into your compact cities because the aliens are in the hillsides.
Hills Have Aliens, the next movie franchise.
Safety in numbers, everybody. You got to get into your cities.
Well, you know what happened in World War II, during World War II, there was a lot of people who lived in rural society, right? They were farmers and this kind of thing. And then when the war kicked off, a lot of those people did move into populated centers so that they could work on, the men. Were out fighting, and the women and the rest of the families moved into these populated centers so that they could help manufacture weapons and ammo and all the other things that you need.
Yeah, it was an industrial movement that forced everybody into metropolitan areas.
And that's probably what's going to happen here, right? So if it is aliens that they use, it's not going to be as literal as you're saying. I know you're joking, but it's going to be something like, look, man, we have to build the ark, right? Or we have to fucking, figure out how to combat this global threat. And the only way to do that is if we bring in all the people, all the smart people and all the farmers. We've got to come together. So everybody's going to have to come in here. We have to work on this together.
I'm saved. I'm not smart at all. Good.
On top of
while your husbands and sons are fighting on Mars, come make shitty toilet paper.
Well, it's going to be that kind of
good
thing.
bug is a dead bug.
It's going to be that
I
kind
know
of
that
thing,
one.
plus like what they're doing already with like weather modification shit, right? Like some of these wildfires and these flooding events and these things like that push people out of certain areas and into other areas, because what are you going to do? A fucking wildfire just burned your entire county to the ground. So what else are you going to do? So I think it's
Moving
a mix
to
of
cities
multiple
because
things.
there's aliens in them trees.
Yeah, it's multiple things.
The UFOs are only taking people from the countryside. You better get out of the rural areas.
That's the way it's always been. I mean, hasn't stopped anyone so far.
Have you seen the cows? Their udders are gone. You better get in your cities.
Their udders are gone.
Shit.
We need to have AI write us a movie script called The Hills Have Aliens, where the cow udders disappear. It forces all the hillbillies into the fucking, the word.
All right, hey, for real note, right? Jake, I know you love to do that stuff. If you're in the chat or if you're listening to this on Spotify, if you want Jake to create a script using AI with this as the plot and have it read off as an Infinite Rabbit Hole episode, let us know. We'll make it happen. I'll even let him AI our voices so he doesn't have to do anything. It's got to be an hours-long script read completely
Just
I think it would be fun. Come on, Jeff. I saw a tiny smirk. You don't have to be serious all
I think it's funny.
Jeff, you said earlier, maybe like 5 minutes ago, that you didn't know a certain bit of information because you're not in the occult circles or, privy.
The world moves fast. Your workday, even faster. Pitching products, drafting reports, analyzing data. Microsoft 365 Copilot is your AI assistant for work. Built into Word, Excel, PowerPoint, and other Microsoft 365 apps you use. Helping you quickly write, analyze, create, and summarize. So you can cut through clutter and clear a path to your best work. Learn more at Microsoft.com/M365 Copilot.
This episode is brought to you by Indeed. Stop waiting around for the perfect candidate. Instead, use Indeed sponsored jobs to find the right people with the right skills fast. It's a simple way to make sure your listing is the first candidates see. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs have 4 times more applicants than non-sponsored jobs. So go build your dream team today with Indeed. Get a $75 sponsored job credit at Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply.
What if an appliance emergency didn't have to be? If your appliances suddenly decided they were done, don't stress. Best Buy has you covered with a wide variety of major appliances from trusted brands, in stock and available now. So you don't have to worry about laundry piling up, refilling the fridge, or that big dinner party you're hosting. Because Best Buy has the knowledge and expertise to get you the right appliance for your home. Learn more at bestbuy.com. Best Buy. Imagine that.
New Year, same extra value meals at McDonald's. So now get 2 snack wraps, plus fries, and a medium soft drink for just $8.
For limited time only. Prices and participation may vary. Prices may be higher in Hawaii, Alaska, and California, and for delivery.
Well, the holidays have come and gone once again. But if you've forgotten to get that special someone in your life a gift, well, Mint Mobile is extending their holiday offer of half off unlimited wireless. So here's the idea. You get it now. You call it an early present for next year. What do you have to lose? Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Limited time 50% off regular price for new customers. Upfront payment required. $45 for 3 months, $90 for 6 months, or $180 for 12-month plan. Taxes and fees extra. Speeds may slow after 50 gigabytes per month when network is busy. See terms.
To that sort of stuff. What's the point of your tinfoil lined beanie and your hand tattoo if you're not invading cults for us, Jeff? What is this?
Jeff.
Say that you're here to play the wedding. You're the shadow band.
I don't really know how to answer that question.
The answer to the question is, you're right. I'll do it.
The shadow band wedding singer.
First of all, it's a silver lined beanie.
Yeah, tinfoil lined beanie, exactly.
Second of all, the occult symbol tattoos that I have on my body, those were from an earlier time in my life where I just thought that it was metal. And it just happened.
It may be, but you still have them, so it's for a reason.
It just so happened that as I got older and I started researching these types of things, I realized like, oh shit, like this is an occult symbol, not just a bafflement because it's metal, right? Like it's a bafflement which has like all kinds of occult symbolic meanings to it.
It's like the same reason why I didn't get a bunch of Gaelic knotwork for a full sleeve. It's like, oh, all this means something. Yeah.
Right. Now, I didn't think about that prior. This is why I have witchcraft tattooed between my fingers. Do I consider myself a Wiccan? Absolutely not. I think that's retarded. However, like
you're gonna piss off all the retarded Wiccans out there.
However, when I was in my 20s, that was metal, bro. Right? So
yeah, that's true. I'm just saying. You got like 2 of the probably 5 things required for invading a cult. The other one is like, I don't know, a longer beard than you have now. and that like maybe 2 more things. Maybe that's it. I don't know, but
You're already
you could
fucking
totally
crazy,
be invading
so-
it.
There's a lot of like weird synchronicities. I don't know if you guys get into synchronicities at all, but like through my life, there's been a lot of these synchronicities. So, I'll give you another example, right? I play guitar, right? And I have this black guitar, and then I bought these gold pickups for the guitar, right? It just looks sick. It's black with gold
pretty
pickups
metal,
on it.
yeah.
It's metal as fuck,
yeah,
right?
tell me about your gold pickups.
Years later, in my conspiratorial research, I realized that the colors, there's 2 colors that identify
Like the black and yellow song.
the Saturn cult, and that Saturn cult's colors to represent Saturn are black and gold. There's just like weird little things like that have come up where I'm like, damn, like I don't know if it's a simulation or if it's just a synchronicity or whatever it is, but I could list off half the things in my life that are tied to these weird Saturn death cult ideas that are things that I have, whether it's tattoos or the black and gold themes on my equipment or whatever. I mean, if you go, Crystal was asking me earlier, like, how do you name your songs? Like, what do you name? Because we were listening to some of my old songs on SoundCloud that are 10 plus years old. She's like, where do you come up with the names for this? And I was like, oh, well, the name of that song, that's a Saturn's moon. That's one of the moons of Saturn, right? Oh, that's the cube. Saturn is the cube, right? Like, it's just weird simulation shit that happens. I don't know.
Fun fact, our intro music is one of Jeffrey's songs.
Yeah.
What's the name of that song?
Occult.
Alternate 80. Oh, yeah, it is.
That's pretty awesome. Anyways.
I like it.
So Skeeter had made a comment that we should all get shadow band tattoos at the next tattoo party. By the way, if you are a fan of the show and you find yourself near Elmwood, Wisconsin on the last weekend of every July, at least Jake and I don't know about Jeff, he seems to come up once.
And we got to go down there. That's the thing.
That's the
And then we
rule.
can
The
get
rule is that
shadow
we have to go
band
see
tattooed.
him now. Yes, I know.
Yeah, we got to get it tattooed on our throats, though. Shadow band.
Shadow band. Shadow
Yeah.
band of brothers.
It's so metal. We'll do it in black and gold.
So metal. Yeah. So we started it this year. We did a tattoo party.
It's like these people.
We did a tattoo party with my tattooist, Alex, from Skin Prints in Eau Claire. So if anybody wants to get a part of that, what did I get? Did I get the checklope? No, I think I got this one. I think I got that one. Anyways, I think we had like 5 or 6 people last time. And every year we just got to get bigger and bigger. So Jeff, you got to come up and get a shadow band.
Yeah, right. So we have a 10-hour tattoo session, just one after the
You should
other.
get it on your
Tattoo.
eyelids.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Get it on your nipple. That's super metal.
I've been wanting more tattoos for so long, dude. I've been working on this blackout sleeve for over a decade, and I'm still not done with it.
Dude, he wants to do white ink on a black sleeve. I told him I'm thinking about it.
I just want a black sleeve. I was always
Yeah?
thinking about finishing the black sleeve and then doing scarification over it.
Hmm.
That'd be
Gross.
sick. Yeah, it's fucking gross. And I
Yeah,
probably
it's like
would never do it.
it's like Nightcrawler from X-Men.
Ooh, Nightcrawler. Yum. I
Yeah,
don't even
he
know who that
crawls
was.
through the night and peeks into your bathroom while you're taking a shower. He's gross. Yeah.
Yeah,
Jeff's
the
gonna be-
tattoo thing is weird for me, man, because like I've got so many like garbage, shitty tattoos on me. you
Me
know.
too.
And
Man.
again, with most of my tattoos, like I was explaining earlier, like I've gone through these like phases, like where at first it was just metal, right? Like, yeah, that's fucking metal, right? Then I started researching things and I'm like, oh, that's satanic. And then I go deeper down the rabbit hole. I'm like, no, it's not even satanic. It's like a cult. And then I go down even further and it's like, no, that's not a cult. That's some Gnostic fucking symbolism that represents duality. Oh, and then you go deeper and it just becomes like this thing. And it's like part of the journey. Like, you know, these people are like, oh, I got this tattoo because it represents this moment in my life. And this one represents this moment in my life. I'm the opposite of that. I'm like, I got the tattoo. And as life has progressed, it's phased in and out of these moments because of certain symbolic representations and things that I've learned.
As long as you don't get like a freaking piece of pizza tattooed on you, I think you'll be good.
Right. Some Pizzagate tattoo
Yeah.
right here.
Don't start getting like little triangles that get smaller and smaller inside of themselves and be like, yeah, it's a cool symbol, you know, whatever.
Fucking weirdos, man. Yeah, I got multiple Baphomets tattooed on me, and you would think that that's like satanic symbolism, but again, you go back further than that, and it's Gnostic symbolism, right? You go back further, so it's just this weird thing that happens. Same with
Well,
the
you should
pentagram.
avoid that.
I've got pentagram tattooed on me too, and like, yeah, sure, you'd be like, that's satanic, right? But then you go back, oh no, it's before it was even a concept of Satanism, it was used by pagan societies for certain whatever. It's just like this weird
Sure,
thing.
yeah. Still not good. It's just
we're all
not
very
whatever
different
things. I mean, I got a Bic lighter tattooed on my leg that I've been wanting to cover up, but I spend my money on chicken coops and stuff like that. And it's just like, doesn't mean anything except for it makes me look like a crackhead, according to my dad. So, is what it is.
Yeah, this Bic lighter tattoo represents the time that I used to do meth. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Reminds me of my first heroin hit, right when I green lighter when I shot up for the first time. Man,
allegedly.
The symbolism.
You guys
strike
are
on Twitch for that one.
Lighting the way of my feet with a Bic lighter, symbolism and stuff. So
All right.
metal.
We're just rambling about fucking nothing now. So let's
We've been doing that the whole time.
I don't know. We kind of got onto something there for a little bit. Anyways, I think the next time we have one of these conversations, I want to talk about this fucking laser and DMT trips that people are doing, where they're seeing the code in the laser beams.
Yeah, we mentioned that like a year ago.
Yeah,
didn't we?
but man, there's so much shit coming out on this right now. There's going to be a whole documentary on it here soon, and it is fucking wild.
The documentary you were just talking about comes out on the 21st, which is Friday. So next Sunday, if we don't have anything going on, do we have any guests?
Yes, we have a big guest on Sunday.
Well,
let's just derail their entire fucking conversation and talk about DMT lasers.
Dude, let's do it.
He might go for it.
Well, we'll have to sprinkle in this documentary you're talking about, The Age of Disclosure, because that comes out on Friday on Prime Video. So I'll watch it. I'm not going to believe any of it, but I'll watch it.
I'm gonna end up watching it too. But yeah.
Even if I did watch it, or even if I did believe it, I think it'd just turn me into more of a gun nut than I already am. Be like, this is why I'm stockpiling for the aliens. I'm going to be that guy from War of the Worlds. Not my blood digging in my basement. Can't wait.
Skeeter says, what about the AI script? Skeeter, I need more people interested in it. More. Get the petition going. And also we need to get Jake motivated.
I can do that with Grok right now. Write an entire 2-hour movie script.
Yeah, that's literally the only prompt you got to give it. It'll take you about 12 seconds of your time, and it's done.
Bam. Do it. We'll play it. We'll play it as the 250th episode. By the way, this is episode 248, I believe. So you got 2 weeks. 3 weeks.
If you really wanted to get fancy, tell it to write the script and then also tell it to write the prompt needed to put into like Sora or something so that it'll create the actual movie. Have AI create the AI prompt needed to create the movie.
And have Sora do it? Fuck yes, dude.
What is Sora?
Sora is like the video prompt. Yeah, have you ever seen the videos of like old ladies answering their doors to like a dog sitting on their porch, and they'll be like, "Oh, look how cute you are!" And then all of a sudden their mouth opens up and like a fire hose of water sprays grandma into like 3 rooms away.
What the best ones are? It's the chiropractor ones where it's like a little 80-year-old lady and the chiropractor's like, "All right, bodies."
I love it, dude. Or the deer hunter ones where they're like body slamming the deer from the corn.
Yeah, those are all done with Sora, dude. Sora's like the mid-journey for videos, man.
All right, dope.
All right, well,
we'll do it.
We'll have to just do this sporadically. I like Spectrum Assassin's name. Hills Have Aliens, and then it could be by Shadow Band by Infinite Rabbit. By Shadow Band by Infinite Rabbit.
Should be a shadow band film starring Infinite Rabbit Hole.
Yeah. But band like as in like the music.
No, we're
band.
not doing band like
yes.
That's stupid. That's
it
dumb.
has to. Like the shadow band of brothers.
It doesn't even make sense.
It makes all the sense, Jeff. All of it. All the sense. Look how angry he is. We're doing it now. All right.
Yeah,
Well,
I'm already writing up the thing.
all right.
I said, I told
Nope.
I
Don't
told
do it.
Grok, I said, write a movie script called The Hills Have Aliens, where the cows lose all their udders and the hillbillies have to move into 15-minute cities. It starts, The Hills Have Aliens, written by Grok. Fade in. It says, Rustic Hill Farm, Dawn, the Appalachian Mountains. Jed and Mabel and Billy Bob are the main characters. This is going to be dope.
All right. Well, if we get enough people to want it, that's episode 250. I had a plan for episode 250, but I think this one trumps that. This one's better.
We'll have to screen share the video and react to it as it plays.
Yes, that'll be the episode. Just watching it. Make it like an hour long. Don't do 2 hours. That's too long. But all right. Well, Jeff, do you have anything else to say? Like how he's got to reach over and unmute himself from his fancy little screen.
You've
Hey.
got one too.
Yeah. Hold on.
And he just nuked himself trying to be funny. He actually nuked himself.
Nice. Jed hollering, Mabel, get your lazy bones up. Then them udders ain't gonna milk themselves.
Listen,
Frickin'
when you
Grok, man.
when you put this into Sora, you got to prompt it to use like the top actors, right? You got to have like, I don't even know who's like the biggest actor in the world. Who knows? Whoever the biggest actors in the world, the guy who plays Thor and shit, like he's got to be in there.
Oh,
I
yeah.
don't fucking know.
Mabel, if and you mean my bosom, Jed Clampett, I'll roll you flatter than roadkill. Jed chuckles, but his eyes light up with that old spark. Enter Billy Bob, 16, mullet, backwards cap, glued to a flip phone like the Ark of the Covenant.
That's going to be Theo Vaughn. Jed's going to be the guy who plays fucking the voice from Red Dead.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
That's going to be Jed. The other guy's going to be Theo Vaughn. Guy from Leonard Kenny.
Yeah.
Pedro Pascal.
Can't hear anything.
Pedro Pascal. He's gonna be.
There you
He'll
are.
be Mabel. Pedro Pascal will be Mabel. It's perfect for him.
Jeremy, there you are.
Yeah, there you
Hey,
are.
there you
bro.
are.
We've been here the whole time.
You disappeared.
Yeah, because all I wanted to do is show you my stream deck. I don't.
How did it mess you up? It's not even plugged
Dude,
in.
It is plugged in. It's got the lights on and everything.
What's perfect? Billy Bob.
See?
It's like the aliens probed him and forgot to put the parts
this-
back.
I got-
Mabel arrives, gasping.
Guy's
Mabel,
got 15
Lord
buttons
mercy,
and only
our
one of them work.
livelihood. That's 5 gallons a day, Jed. We'll be eating possum stew till judgment day. And there's a granny, too. Can't forget Granny.
Granny needs to
Ooh.
be Robin Williams from Mrs. Doubtfire.
Yeah. Bet.
All right, this episode ended a long time ago.
Yeah, I'm going to bed.
Yeah.
Screw you guys, I'm going home.
Well,
That's right.
that has been another exciting episode of the Infinite Rabbit Hole. We'll be much more professional next week when we have an actual guest, big guest about cryptids. So we're going to be more in my field instead of Jeffrey's. Always,
I'm taking that week
no,
off.
you're not. Or you can. I don't really care. Whatever. Tis a very big guest, though.
Way to be an udderless cow, Jeff. Useless.
Udderless cow.
Sorry, dude.
Sorry, Jake. All right. Well, that's been another episode of the Infinite Rabbit Hole podcast. Until next time, travelers, we'll see you right here in the next path. Something of the Infinite Rabbit Hole. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, everybody. Hey, everybody. Thanks for checking out the Infinite Rabbit Hole podcast. If you're looking for more of our stuff, head on over to infiniterabbithole.com, where you can find links to all the podcast players that we are available on, and even our video platforms such as TikTok and YouTube. While you're there, make sure to check out all the links for our socials and hit that follow so you know when all the new stuff from our podcast comes out. And until next time, travelers, we'll see you right here in the next fork in the path of the Infinite Rabbit Hole. Bye.